Imagine waking up in total darkness. Your hands are tied. You have no idea where you are. The only person who speaks to you, who feeds you, and who decides whether you live or die is the person who put you there. After a few days, the initial terror begins to shift into something else. You feel a sense of gratitude toward them, a sense of loyalty, even a desire to protect them. This happened in reality on August 23, 1973. A man carrying a submachine gun entered Kreditbanken in Stockholm, Sweden, taking 4 employees hostage. He demanded the police bring a convicted criminal from prison to the bank to join him. For 6 days, those 4 hostages lived inside a vault. They ate and slept there, breathing recycled air, while their captor controlled every second of their lives. When the police finally ended the standoff, the hostages were not relieved to see them. They were angry at the authorities. One hostage, Kristen Enmark, later said she felt more threatened by the government's rescue attempt than by the man who held her at gunpoint. The loyalty was absolute. Enmark testified in the captor's defense, and another hostage reportedly ended an engagement to remain with one of the men. These observations led psychiatrists to coin the term Stockholm Syndrome. This behavior represents a survival strategy designed to navigate an impossible situation. The mind uses this mechanism when all other options for safety have vanished. This process begins with the perceived threat to survival. When your nervous system truly believes that death is imminent, it completely bypasses the logical brain and instantly activates primal survival instincts. In this state, you become entirely dependent on the person holding the power. Because they control your access to life, they become the literal center of your universe. This fear turns into attachment through small acts of kindness. In a state of total powerlessness, any gesture from an abuser feels significant. This chart clearly shows the psychological effect of intermittent reinforcement. You exist at a baseline of extreme terror, but when the captor provides food, the brain experiences sharp spikes of dopamine. A starved brain amplifies these interactions. Over time, these spikes permanently elevate the emotional baseline, creating a bond overriding the underlying fear. In a state of total dependency, the brain misinterprets the absence of abuse as an act of grace, effectively rewiring your allegiance to the source of that relief. Isolation provides the third condition. Without an outside frame of reference, the captor becomes the only source of truth. You begin to accept their logic and their justifications for the situation because there is no other voice available. The final condition is the realization that escape is impossible. When the mind determines that fighting back will only lead to certain death, it stops resisting to conserve energy. This creates cognitive dissonance. The brain struggles to hold 2 conflicting ideas, that this person is a threat, and you must rely on them to survive. This creates a state of unbearable internal conflict. The brain resolves this by editing its perception of reality. It systematically erases the threat node and reclassifies the captor as a protector. This shift happens automatically. The mind edits its own vita without conscious permission, prioritizing psychological stability over the objective truth of the situation. Emotionally allying with an oppressor is structurally safer than resisting them. The mind chooses loyalty over logic because it is the most direct path to staying alive. While the bank vault in Stockholm is an extreme case, the underlying psychology operates in more common environments. The same conditions of dependency and isolation appear in various modern contexts. This explains why survivors of domestic abuse often defend their abusers to family members. The isolation and unpredictable moments of kindness create a psychological bond that makes leaving feel more threatening than staying. Cult leaders use this architecture by engineering total dependency for approval and basic needs. Because members are isolated from outside relationships, the prospect of being expelled from the group feels like a genuine threat to their survival. These mechanics also appear on a subtler level in authoritarian workplaces. While the physical threat is absent, the brain treats the loss of livelihood and social standing as a threat to security. Employees in these environments often rationalize toxic leadership and advocate against their own interests because they are trapped in a cycle of fear and rare intermittent praise. These cases reveal a fundamental aspect of human nature. Our brains are survival machines that will prioritize a sense of safety above truth or freedom. If our entire world collapses down to a single person and a single room, the mind will build a feeling of security out of whatever material is available, even if that material is the person who took our security away. Understanding how these bonds form provides the distance needed to see them clearly. While knowledge alone isn't a cure, awareness creates the possibility of choice. It allows us to examine our own loyalties and decide whether they are based on genuine values, or if they are just the lingering mechanics of fear.